Good afternoon, Yonkers. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. No one likes corruption, including Marty. Let's talk about the radio show on WNYC.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Good afternoon, Yonkers. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. This afternoon, I want to talk about radio programming from yesterday, discussing the term extension here in the city of Yonkers. But what a hell of a day for me. What a day. What a day. What a day. Good afternoon, Yonkers. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. It's 4 o'clock. Maybe it might be a little early, but I want to come on and just talk about the day I've had. It was quite a day. It was good and bad. It was good and bad. I mean, it started out bad. Started out bad as I started to receive text messages and screenshots from the Yonkers Newswire in regards to something that happened almost 2 years ago with family members. You know, unfortunately, I mean, and many people are saying, we saw your wife and she looks terrified. And yeah, and she was. I mean, we were attacked by family members, right? People that were in our family, unfortunately. And that's how it is in life, right? We all have family members, you know, that are probably not the best to be in our lives. And we have to, you know, cut ties. And I've done that. And, you know, I'm surprised to see this. And I'm assuming that maybe, you know, individuals within the city of Yonkers, you know, found this report because the police came, they investigated it, and they asked if I wanted to press charges because I was the victim. And I didn't because they are family members. And here it comes back to bite me in the butt, right? And so what happened is that, you know, family members, you know, again, have family members who have dealt with heroin and, you know, and crack cocaine. And, you know, I've tried helping people out. Unfortunately, you know, it went wrong there, you know, and we were attacked. My wife, my kids were there. It was just my wife and my kids. We were not, you know, opened up. This was almost 2 years ago when we first got in there. We were still trying to put the things that we needed and stuff like that. And so, you know, it was over some money. And I guess, you know, when you on drugs and you have withdrawals and you need money bad and you don't want to get the drugs, you don't have patience, right? And so I guess I took too long in writing a check, and that caused for me to be attacked, you know, and it's on video. I was attacked by 2 women. Another one broke my window. My wife was screaming, parent, my kids were there. It was a scary situation. And so I may have said some things that probably were not, you know, well, in that situation, you don't know what the hell to do. And all I was trying to do was, you know, hopefully scare them enough to get up out of there and not, you know, hurt me, my wife, or my kids, right? So, you know, I did say something about call the cops, and I also said, get my gun, right? Which I am a licensed gun owner. However, I did not have my gun with me. Police came, you know, they told them everything. They tried to make me look as bad as possible. They wanted me to get in trouble, you know, and unfortunately also people look to sue, right? And you know, when you reach a certain level, like, you know, and people look at you, you know, as having certain things, you know, a certain financial status, you know, you become a target for things like this, for people who want to, you know, sue you, even people within your own family. And it's unfortunate, right? Because when you try to help people and that's all you've ever done to them, and then it seems to keep coming back to bite you in the butt, you know, so, but unfortunately, I mean, I should say, fortunately, I should say, you know, in helping strangers, I have received a lot of, you know, rewards and just them being nice and appreciative, more than so your own family and friends. That's unfortunate. Just yesterday, I was with the kids, high school students, and we were giving out lunches, a Free the Need program. They came out with me, and I was teaching them the importance of giving back. And everyone we gave to was so appreciative that thank you, God bless you guys. You know, it was not anything that was scary. You know, I think some people were a little bit unsure, you know, some of the other adults, but they realized, you know, these people are really kind and appreciative, even though they are in these, you know, in this situation. But here you have family that are not so appreciative, and they will do this to you, right? So we were the victims. And the picture is horrible because it shows just how much, fear and how much fright my wife had. You could see it in her face in the picture that this slob put on his page. And that's coming from politicians. That's coming from elected officials. That's a fact. And it's unfortunate because today I got a lot of information which turned my day around. Because I got some good, serious information. Serious information. And because we are not the individuals that the city of Yonkers employee and elected officials try to paint me out to be, and not all employees, not all, just the ones that are so far up, rear end, right? Try to make me out to be. People that truly know us know who we are. Our reputation precedes us, so people know. And people have come out to show support. So I want to say thank you to everyone who did, because you didn't have to, but you did. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And so more and more people are starting now to give me information because I think they're feeling more comfortable with me. And I heard this from several people. They said, Freddie, you don't speak about the Spanos enough. You don't mention Nick Spano, Mike Spano, Vinny Spano. Why? And people have known that Vinny and I have had some sort of a relationship, not like that, friend relationship. People have seen me go to his office and stuff, and we've talked. And I try to build relationships with people. But unfortunately, people don't want to build relationships with me. And so this is something that's been happening to me from City Hall, elected officials, since the beginning of last year when Rue Rose told me that elected officials wanted to hurt my business. He said it. I got him. When we go to court, a lot of stuff is going to come out. And best believe I haven't told you all the information because of that reason. I cannot divulge too much because of a court or a pending lawsuit now that I have. I'm being sued for $1 million on top of being pretty much molested and accosted on social media. And I'm not anyone. I'm just a resident of the city of Yonkers speaking out, speaking truth. That's all I'm doing. And I'm speaking about the elected officials. So why do I have so many random fake pages and individuals having an issue with me? You have to think about that. But not everyone, and people are giving me information. And so I've gotten screenshots now of text messages incriminating elected officials. Just today, someone came and informed us that there is an effort and there is an agenda to come after my wife and I. And this was told to us by a respected individual. They want dirt on us. This term extension is super important. I mean, to the point I say that they are gathering the troops. They want everybody at the Riverfront Library. And so they are reaching out to everyone they know. And I actually hear that an individual reached out to John Larkin. The individual is not doing too well. He's sick, John Larkin. He is the guy in charge of the Yonkers GOP, the Republican Party. And they reached out to him saying, why are you doing this? John Larkin and the Republican Party put out a press release. They are completely against the term extensions. This is bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans alike. It's basically the haves versus the have-nots. Those that are in the family and friend networks versus everybody else. And they want their jobs. And you saw the faces on those DPW guys. They didn't want to be there. Many of them had their heads hanging down. They weren't even holding up the signs. Some of them had them rolled up. But they were told by a shop steward, according to information I'm receiving from sources. Allegedly, a shop steward by the name of Gio. Won't say your last name, Gio. Gathered the troops down at DPW and told them to go to City Hall. So when Rue Rose tells you that the majority of the people that were there were in support of it, He didn't tell you that the majority of the people there were men from DPW, men who had just recently got put on full-time from seasonal positions, some who had just recently received promotions, and they owed a favor, and they still do. So you'll see many individuals going down to the Riverfront Library on Monday, November 21st. The meeting's supposed to start at 6:30, but we need to be there at 5. And I know that's not easy for some folks, but this is important. This is important. So I want to move on to yesterday morning, there was a radio show in regards to the term extension. And I want to play this because it's important, because this shows you how others feel about it. Not just Freddie Vasquez, not just Basement Politics, not just those who comment and who like the page. And I understand why people are afraid to do that, because anyone who has liked my page, who has commented, is a target. And I'm sorry. They're going after you. They're, trying to see who you are, doing, a little investigation on individuals who like it, who like Basement Politics. This is real. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable, folks. Anyway, I want to play this WNYC radio show from yesterday. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, actually. So I want to play this part first.
Some residents of Yonkers, New York's third largest city, would probably argue that, this may not rise to the level of Trump's big lie, but there is a threat to democracy close to home and coming from inside their local government. In Yonkers, the city council is looking to extend term limits for themselves and the mayor, Mike Spano. Currently, Yonkers elected officials can serve 3 4-year terms. That's a lot already for a lot of places. They're looking to push that to 4 terms or 16 years. And this comes just 4 years after the city council and mayor made the same move to increase term limits from 2 terms to 3. That was just in 2018. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about term limits in general, which, some people consider usually a political volley from the hateful to increase term limits.
So again, he's just talking about that the mayor and the city council want to increase term limits. Again, they just did it 4 years ago. Term limits were voted on by the people back in 95. In 2001, it was put to a referendum to extend the term limits. The people voted no. So in 2018, they decided to push it through the council and got it passed, extending it to 3 terms for the council and the mayor. And now, 4 years later, they're looking to do the same thing. This time, the people are prepared. They know how you guys made that move last time. They knew exactly what you're going to do with City Hall, pack that up with people, and that's what they did. And I was told about this. So to actually witness it now, it was surreal,
Breaking news, because last night, the Rules Committee of Yonkers held a public meeting regarding their proposal to increase term limits. What happened?
Well, there was a proposal to send it to committee, and then with the possibility of holding a citywide referendum on making the change, but they could only get 3 votes for that. They needed 4. So now it will go directly to the council. They're going to have a public hearing on it next Monday, and they plan to vote on Tuesday. So this is moving very rapidly. The political calendar calls for it to move rapidly because next year's nominee process begins in February or so with all the petitions and March and all that. So they need to move quickly on it if the mayor, Mike Spano, is going to get a shot to run for a 4th.
And before we even get into term limits, pro and con, and whose interests are really being pursued here with this proposal to extend term limits to 4 terms, give us a little background on why there are term.
So yeah, I just told you that he's going to go into when the term limits were enacted, and the year, it was change and all that. So I'm going to move on to, I want to let you hear I believe this is, no, it's a little more information there.
And Yonkers, as
I'll get to
anywhere,
callers.
is distracted right now by digesting the national election. And all of a sudden is when they're trying to get an extension of term limits for themselves. Do you have anything to say about the timing?
Well, the timing is, I don't know if it's related to anything national, but the timing is related to the political calendar in Yonkers. The same thing happened in 2018 when Mike Spano, who was the son of a big Yonkers political family, his father was Westchester County Clerk, his brother Nick Spano, very powerful state senator for many years in the Republican caucus. Mike was a Republican, switched to Democrat when he was in the state assembly. And Mike is popular. He's done a lot for the city. His happened when his second term was up. They city council amended the term limits. Now his third is up, and the same thing is happening. So it's more of a local response. I don't think the national is really involved in this.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe.
So again, he's saying Mike Spano's popular. He comes from a popular political family that's been involved in Yonkers politics for a very long time. Their dad, Andrew Spano, was a city clerk. Currently, Vincent Spano, the youngest of the Spano, holds that position, city clerk. And so I wanted you to hear that now. Let's get into, I believe this is one of the callers, a woman from the Westchester Black Women's Caucus, I believe.
I don't think Kevin in Yonkers likes this extended term limits idea very much. Kevin, you're on WNYC. Hello.
Yes. Well, in terms of Mike Spano, I have nothing bad to say about what he's been doing. I think he's been doing some good stuff for Yonkers, and he's had a good time in office. But that said, when you make it something that's a part of the law, and I don't think it's good. I really don't think it's good. It's like Bloomberg in New York. He wanted to extend his time. He says, "Oh, well, we'll leave it up to the voters." I think when term limits are in discussion, it should be something voted on by the people. I don't think city council should have that power to extend anybody's term limits or to extend term limits for city council members or whoever.
I agree. So this guy doesn't dislike Mike Spano, and neither do I, and I'm sure neither do a lot of people, but you just cannot allow the city council to make that decision. It has to be put to the people. So if you wanted to get this in time before next year's caucus, so that way the mayor can have an opportunity to run again, you should have put it to the people for the vote last year. But you didn't, because they wanted to rush it through. They didn't want the people to actually vote on it.
By the waterfront, I live in Astoria now, but and I was actually quite amazed by the way the waterfront move, has changed. And whatever he's doing up there, this Nick Spano, is actually
you heard what he said.
Looks good to you.
Yeah.
But you wanted to say something about corruption, right?
Absolutely. Well, actually, I mean, my parents were very involved in Yonkers politics in the 70s, and they went. I don't know if you saw that the show, Show Me a Hero.
I did not.
With Cisco. No. Well, anyway, they're it's been notoriously a corrupt, and especially growing up in Yonkers, in Southwest Yonkers. At that time, a lot of, whether they were Democrats or Republicans, didn't matter. It was like, they basically forgot the downtown area and moved all their resources to the north and the east,
That's right. And that's what they've done. They forgot about it. They allowed it to go to hell. Property values went down. People started secretly buying up property. And boom, here you go. Now you got these developers coming in and they're selling off the properties that they purchased cheap? Was it a purposeful deterioration? Did they want that area to get so bad that they can buy a property cheap and justify the developments now coming in, making money on both ends? I want to put it forward to there was an activist for the Westchester Women's Black Women's Caucus, I believe.
Boundaries, low HUD.
Be allowed to make at the rules.
But now we have you.
Okay.
We
It's
kind
a
of have you.
pleasure to. Yes, it's a pleasure to be on your show this morning. I live in Yonkers, New York, the third largest city in New York State. I was at the Rules Committee meeting last night, and I am extremely disappointed because democracy is for the people, by the people.
Mm-hmm.
7 members of the Yonkers City Council and the mayor cannot be allowed to make a decision that affects the 215,000 people that call Yonkers home.
And looking at the list of groups that signed on
Listen, folks,
to the press advisory that you all released, this is really
listen to the groups that are opposing this legislation passed by the City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy.
Yonkers progressive community. This is the Yonkers NAACP. This is Indivisible Westchester. This is the Lower Hudson Valley Democratic Socialists of America. This is the Yonkers Sanctuary Movement. This is Community Voices Heard, as well as your group, the Westchester Women's Black Caucus.
And basement politics.
Why do you think those are the groups that are most organized to oppose the extension of term limits?
Okay, so we are the marginalized group. We are the residents of the city of Yonkers. We are the people who are not allowed to come to the table to make decisions that affect our lives. It is really important to note that term limits are in place for a purpose. And so no one should be allowed to change term limits to suit their purpose, because then it becomes a dictatorship, and absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
So, Bomi, I notice also that
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I learned that from a book called Animal Farm back in elementary school, I believe, maybe middle school. It was a great book. If you haven't read it, you should read it. And she's saying there, it should not be up to the council because it becomes a dictatorship. Of course, they're going to vote for their jobs. They vote for their increases in their pay. They get all these perks. For some, this is the first time they've ever had a pension and health insurance and a car that's not 10 years old. So of course they're going to want to stay in there. They are all benefiting in some way. Sources are telling me that Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, many sources, will be moving over to take Elena Goldberg's Velasquez spot as city court judge. And also recently I was told by several sources that her husband will be joining the Yonkers Police Department. So that's one person that's going to get now overlooked because of it. But that's not just all. Tasha Diaz also, according to sources, allegedly, all of this allegedly, have to say that, is getting her stepdaughter into the academy. So that's 2 people that are going to now be overlooked. But I saved the last, and I'm going to get it out of here in a second. I saved the last caller for last because I think she, of all the callers, really was eye-opening for me, and it should be eye-opening for you, and it validates a lot of what I've been saying. This is a woman by the name of Marty, which is why I made her name stand out specifically in the title. Marty is, I'm assuming, a white woman from the city who moved to Yonkers a year and a half ago. Marty is affluent, it seems, and has friends who are affluent, friends who own businesses in the city, family members that are in the movie industry. Hear what she has to say about the city of Yonkers. She is what I call a gentrifier. She once lived in Inwood. After that was gentrified in Manhattan, then she moved on up to Yonkers, now that it's being gentrified. And she sounds very entitled. This is not your city, Marty. This is ours. Listen to what Marty has to say. And everyone should be paying attention, especially the Black and Latinos on the Southwest side and Northwest side. Listen to Marty, the gentrifier.
I think Marty in Yonkers is a little more skeptical, at least of some of the development. Marty, you're on WNYC. Hi.
Hi. We moved back to the New York area, and we moved to Yonkers about a year and a half ago. So I'm really glad that we have the film studio. My family's in the film business. We're like, wow, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these apartments that I can see from my window that are going up on the waterfront are going to be rentals. And in the kayak club that's up here, that's fabulous. We have people who do building, and they were like, why didn't they make them co-ops or condos? Because what we want is people actually living here and being invested, as opposed to, thousands of people renting in and out of Yonkers. Also, I have other friends that I've met up here, business owners, and they won't build.
Listen.
Like we don't have great restaurants here, as far as I can see. And they're like, no, there's too much payback and everything else we'd have to do if we wanted to open something in Yonkers.
Did you hear what she said? She has business owner friends in the city. There's no restaurants. She said there's no good restaurants here. And so she's asked her friends, maybe you should build or start a business, a restaurant in Yonkers. And they all said, it's too much corruption, is basically what she's saying. There's too much payback, basically kickback. She's talking about kickbacks that business owners have to pay if they want to do business in Yonkers. This is a woman that's not from Yonkers. She only moved here a year and a half ago. This is what I've said. But that's not all. Listen.
There's also, in the downtown area, you can see buildings that are boarded up and are going to be gentrified. So, I really applaud a lot of the stuff that's happening, because before I lived in Inwood and could see Yonkers, but I have it was very interesting to me to have business owners say, no, the place where the refrigeration place that I used in downtown Yonkers, that guy's getting thrown out because of the fact that they want his building for a new studio. And somebody else was like, there's too much corruption. I can't deal with all that stuff. And so that's really surprised me.
Marty,
but I love Yonkers. So there you go.
Thank you.
He cut her off during the good part. He cut her off during the good part of it. Did you hear what she said? She has a friend, a business owner friend, that relied on a refrigeration business here in the city of Yonkers, but now he's having to close down. The refrigeration business is having to close down because the movie studios wants his property. She said there's just too much corruption. Even the new folks that are moving in are hearing about the corruption in Yonkers. Exactly the same things that I've been saying. Small business owners being forced to shut down, close, sell their properties because the movie studios want the properties. They want Yonkers. And she is almost against the developments because they're going to be rentals. She says that she feels that they should be condos and co-ops. That way people have more of an invested, interest in the area, and not just a bunch of renters, that she said, thousands of renters moving in and out. Well, lady, no one asked you to move here. This is Yonkers. The majority of the people, the average person in the city of Yonkers makes only $35,000 a year, Marty, because they're not all entitled to city jobs where they can make $150,000 a year. Not yet, anyway. Maybe when they come out and stand up and vote for change, that will change. And then they will be moving into those apartments, Marty, and you'll be moving back to Inwood. Did you hear what she said? When I lived in Inwood, after that was gentrified, she could see Yonkers from it and basically was saying it was horrible. And now that they've been developing, she moved here, but she doesn't know why they're not building condos and co-ops. These people want us out. The Southwest Side, Northwest Side, which is predominantly Black and Hispanic, is being replaced. But not just Black and Latinos, working class, poor whites as well. They want to buy your homes. People are getting phone calls. Sell us your house. So it's important that we all come out on Monday, November 21st. Try to be there by 6 p.m. They will pack the place with city employees, family and friends of city employees, to make it appear like the majority of the people support the term extension. But it's obvious already by now that we do not. We voted before, and we do not want terms extended. By the way, if you're on Nextdoor app, Frankie Jarris, the son of Zahi Jarris, the man that sued me for $1 million, also uses the name John King. Frankie Jarris wrote something to Shanae Williams. And I honestly believe it was a form of intimidation. Basically, this is what we want. If you go against that, you know what the consequences are. And maybe that is why there is some fear. And maybe people who said she was being bullied are right. I want to show you that really quick before I go off. I think it's important that we see what the son of Zahi Jarris is up to. This is a guy who uses social media to attack people. He's used fake accounts to attack people. So I caught on to one of his fake accounts thanks to a source who identified it for me. And it shows that it's Frankie Jarris, who is also John King. I want to see where I put that. Is it up here? I hope I got it up here. If not, I'll share it later. I'll share it later. I thought I put it up there. But you have to, look out for these fake pages and these attacks that they're usually coming from Frankie Jarris, from what sources tell me, allegedly. But he got caught on Nextdoor. And I got more information that I'm not going to put out just yet. I'm speaking with my attorney tomorrow. I'll be meeting with him. That's right, Zahi. I'm not scared. And I know that you're going to try everything. But at this point, the people are starting to realize what's being done to me and my wife. You're attacking me way too much now, Z. Brian Harrod and elected officials. It's becoming obvious that you want to silence me. We got you, though. We got you. And that's why I'm not scared. What I was disappointed about today was the fact that that video could only have come from family. And that was the most hurtful, because I've tried to help family. I've never hurt family. I've never hurt people unless they deserved it, right? And sometimes people do. But I'm learning nowadays that you can't just go around, handling things the way you once did. And this is politics. And this is very dirty. And they will come after your reputation, your business, your finances, and your family with no regard. I try to have a level of decency. I talked to you about that. I maintain that level of decency. And as long as Brian Harrod has that post of my wife and I up, I'm going to assume that it's fair game. So be prepared for me now to start coming out with the information that involves the wives and those that are not the wives. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. You wanted war. War it is. In the police report, the responding officer says that Vanessa is the girlfriend or whatever, wife of my uncle, who I was trying to help out, admitted to shoving you. She didn't actually shove me. She actually tried to punch. Well, she did shove me and then try to punch me. She did both, actually. She swung at me, but I kind of ducked it and I just kind of grabbed it. I used to work in the school, where kids had, emotional, disabilities and stuff. And, we were taught, it was called TCI training. And I think the city council president may know something about this, right? TCI training, where we taught to, restrain students without hurting them, right? Because you don't want to hurt them, but you want to prevent them from hurting themselves or someone else. And so my TCI training kicked in. And this is what I was telling you about, Anthony, or actually I was telling Wayne Simos in an email and, exchanges. I said, well, the guy, Wayne Simos, was the guy, the police officer that was in the video that had the incident with the woman in the bar. And I said, well, we were taught, and I'm not a cop, but I was taught how to restrain people without hurting them. Why couldn't that be done? And so that's what I did. I restrained 2 women who were as tall as me and both weighed more than me. Not together, individually. I'm not the biggest guy, And so that's all I did. And according to the, the police report, so she said, Vanessa admitted to shoving you and also swung at you because she said, I'll punch you in your face. And I said, if you do, I'm going to call the police. That's what I said to her. I got it all on video. I had a camera right there by the door where she was at because she never came in until she attacked me, right? And then her sister jumped onto my back. It was incredible. And then another woman just broke. It was incredible. Like, you see my wife's face. She was terrified. Of course, this is crazy, right? And so, physicality commenced. Yeah, because I was just trying to keep them from, hitting me. That was my whole goal, is not to let them hit me. I wasn't going to hit anyone, which I did not. I didn't hit anybody. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you then holding her down while the cops are called in a way. And I did. And I did my TCI training, and I held her down, and I didn't hurt her at all. And they try to say everything. And I did. I yelled things because I was trying to yell things that I think might scare them so they could leave. But I did not. But I'm a licensed gun owner. I am. But I did not have one there. Police came. They investigated everything. Trust me. They tried to get me. She said I broke her arm. Her arm was not broken, but I broke her arm. So police did investigate. They came. Absolutely. And I feared for my wife and my kids' safety. That was the biggest thing, because we weren't open yet. This was literally almost 2 years ago. Because remember, we've been now dealing with, having our center open over 2 years now at this point. So this was almost about 2 years ago, right? Because he was actually helping touch up paint and, help me lift stuff, removing all the garbage from all the boxes that we have, from all the stuff that we have bought, the tables and everything. So trying to give people some work, and then this is what happens. But they're going to do anything. It's disgusting, folks. I appreciate everyone who supported me, and wrote something to that Brian Harrod, whatever his name is. The guy's disgusting. I mean, he just should not exist anymore. I wish we can really, truly go out and just eliminate the waste of space, taking up oxygen. During his second term, oh boy, Mikey said he did not want to run for a third term. He emphasized that he did not want to run for a third term. And here we are. He wants to run for a fourth term. That's right, A1A. Destroy girls is rocking, dropping bikinis, rocking lovers, driving Lamborghinis, jealous, because I'm out getting mine. A with the A and vanilla with the 9. Vanilla ice baby. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, folks. So there you have it. I think the most important caller was that Marty, because that really, truly, exemplifies what I've been saying in terms of the gentrification, as well as the corruption and the businesses that are being forced to close down. They're gentrifying us. They're not mixing. They are removing us. And by the way, one last thing that she mentioned, I forgot to touch on. She said that she has friends that work in the city, and they come up and they go to the kayak club. The kayak. See, I'm good at putting 2 and 2 together. The kayak club. Now, why is that important? Well, because Councilwoman of the 1st District, Shanae Williams' boyfriend, was once in charge of the kayak club. But that was short-lived. It was time to give it up and hand it over to the gentrifiers, Marty and her friends. And he was upset about it. And he complained and made a stink. And so what was the retribution for that? The retaliation for that? He got his apartment trashed. Remember the post he put up? Speaking about someone who works for the city that's very well known, that trashed his apartment, committed a crime, but will get away with it because, folks, I have had a conversation with somebody that says police cover a lot of stuff up. And Brenton Bullock, the aide of Tasha Diaz, who trashed Shanae Williams, the councilwoman of the 1st District's boyfriend's apartment, got away with it because police cover a lot of stuff up. I'll give you one example before I go. One police officer who would beat his wife. They would leave him in the house, take the wife away, get her medical attention before returning her home. But what's sad is that she cried for help. She explained to the individuals who arrived that this happens weekly. But I guess he was a police officer who was getting ready to retire. And helping this woman would meant having this man possibly go to jail and maybe even lose his pension. And now we couldn't have that happen, right? We only do that to people named Anthony DiMaggio. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics, Unfiltered. And Anthony was not doing this. Anthony DiMaggio was not beating his wife. Cops were not being called to his home for it. He actually tried to, correct a problem that was happening in the department, right? And he lost his pension. Yet another officer could beat his wife regularly. And police knowing about it. I mean, hell, even the ambulance companies would come out and knew about it. But I guess then why would they say anything? I mean, they got contracts with the city, right? So everybody had a reason to keep this covered up. And it's sad, that poor woman. And that is why we need change. That is exactly why we need change. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I got to get up at it. That's Brenton. Tasha said yes. Now Tasha's bullying a senior that is head of the 3rd precinct meeting. She wants him off. She is hanging out with Rubo too long. They are tag teaming bullying seniors. Every dog has his day, Carolyn. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes around. Karma is a you-know-what. And eventually, it happens. So we'll see it happen. And it's due. It's long overdue.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Folks, we got to come out on November 21st. It's very important. Very, very important. By the way, City of Yonkers, some of our residents would like to know if there's going to be enough police provided because it is 6:30 at night in the evening. It is the downtown area, and some people may feel uncomfortable having to walk from the parking lot over to the Yonkers Riverfront Library. I think they should have done 2 of them. One and one at the Riverfront Library, right? That would have been fair. But please, Councilman Moranti, Shanae Williams, since you guys are, against this, Corazon Pineda Isaac, can you please see what you could do about having enough police officers to make the residents, especially our seniors, feel comfortable walking from the garage on Buena Vista all the way over to the library? That would be great. That would really be great because people want to come out. People want to come out. People don't want this. And I think by now, the entire city council should know that the people don't want this. And there should not be now one of them that is now going to vote yes. But they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Got to get them jobs, man. We got to get them jobs. Yo, you see that she was banging that gavel? Shut up, Freddie. I said, John, Rubo, it's not enough time, John. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to have you removed. You better not fuck this up for me. Oh, I got the text messages. Folks, I'm telling you, I got it. I got him. I got him. I got him. Got him, got him, got him, got him.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
So, folks, you got to vote these people out because if you leave them in office, they're going to use taxpayer money to pay me.
Freddie wins.
And I don't want to take taxpayer money.
Freddie wins.
All right, so make sure you don't vote in these same individuals because they're going to be sued.
Freddie wins.
And I don't want the taxpayers' money.
Fatality. Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics. You're watching Freddie Vasquez.
Because I got him.
You're watching
Blue Rose,
Basement
I got you,
Politics
baby.
with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
They're trying to come after us. It's a fact, Jack. And people are tired of you guys.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
How can you do that to that lovely, beautiful woman right there, you animals? But she is so loved by people in the schools. I mean, it's incredible. She is truly loved. She has been called a strong administrator by higher-ups. She is amazing. They love her. Students, staff, everyone. Folks, we're going to make some change in Yonkers. Freddie Vasquez is going to lead the charge. Let's go.
Freddie wins.
Oh, y'all want to talk to me now? Oh, 1,000%. Check out my podcast, folks, if you haven't seen it, titled The Sage Crime Family.
Freddie wins.
Man, that one did some numbers. A lot of views on that one. I talked about Nadeem Sage, the doctor who lost his license because he was out there hustling pills.
Freddie wins.
He was writing prescriptions for cruises and vacations and even wine.
I was raped.
But he's not the only sage that lost his license. There's a few of them. Actually, there was one very recently that was arrested for touching little kids. Check it out. It's on the Sage Crime Family episode. All of it is fact because I got it all from the internet. All from news websites. It's all facts, all documented. Sue me.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Think I care? Even if they suing me, I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing the right thing, folks. Take all my money, take my clothes, take whatever you want, but you're never gonna take my heart. That's the difference between you and I.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
There's too many people that want this to be done with already. It's just too many people.
Freddie wins.
So Yonkers, November 21st, make sure you come out to the Riverfront Library. Let it be known. Let it be known. The term extension is not what we want.
Freddie wins.
We want jobs for the people. We want our schools improved, truly improved. We want a robust sports program, intramural sports, extracurricular activities. Okay? And don't let these clowns bring these other clowns to do that. You want it to be from people that can accomplish that mission. Competent people that have a proven track record. None of this family and friends hook up. You obviously take my life, for example, as an example, perfect. You can't hook up the family and friends. Look what happens. They try to bring you down. This is for the people. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I love you, Yonkers. I'm fighting for you guys. I'm taking all the brunt. And I haven't even told you everything because of lawsuits. But I can't wait to explain it all. I cannot wait to tell it all. I wish I could tell you. I wish. I wish. Got it. Shit. People are like, why did they just play nice with you, Freddie, like they did with Mike Ramadelli? Wasn't he going after the Spanos hardcore at one point? I hear even Leah McLaughlin at one point was against the Spanos.
Freddie wins.
A lot of people who were going against Hispanos ended up getting jobs and now love them, right?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Look, family turn on family, man. That might have come from my, listen, that side of the family where that video came from is the same side that my cousin who was at the City Hall is from. I'm not saying he did that. I'm just saying.
Freddie wins.
I'm just saying.
Fatality.
Exactly. Because what happens when doctors do that and prescribe pills and get people all raw, addicted and up on them, and then they go to jail, they leave them without the fix, right? And so they then have to go somewhere where it's either going to be more expensive, they can't afford it, they might get a fake pill, or they turn to heroin because it's cheaper and more available. So he destroyed families. My sister died of an overdose because she was given a pill that was fentanyl. After she was given pills for 3 months in the hospital, they got her addicted. And then they released her without giving her help. And doctors like him disgust me.
Freddie wins.
Over 100,000 people a year die of overdose. It's a huge problem in the city of Yonkers as well. Rest in peace to the young baby girl who passed away because she was given a fake pill after she was peer pressured into even doing it to begin with.
Freddie wins.
And they want to keep it on the rap.
Fatality.
Mind you, some of these dudes that's connected to the city, drug dealers.
Freddie.
Oh yeah, I said that. I'm pretty bad because I'm a bad at it.
Fatality.
No!